Welcome back to the World Journal. I am Arshad Khatlani. Today we are diving into a story that feels like science fiction, except it's happening right now. A tiny 2 millimeter chip, a pair of bulky glasses, and an 87-year-old French schoolteacher who can read again after losing her sight. But that is just the beginning. What we are witnessing today is not just medical innovation, it's the early architecture of a world where human minds and machines merge. Let me start with Alice Charton. For years, Alice could no longer recognize the face of her husband, friends, or neighbors. Her world faded into a muddy blur because of an age related muscular degeneration, or AMD, a disease that affects nearly 200 million people globally. She spent her life teaching children how to read, and then suddenly she couldn't read herself. But 3 years ago, something extraordinary happened. Alice became part of a clinical trial using an experimental implant called Prima. Today, she spends an hour early morning and an hour early afternoon reading, slowly, imperfectly, but reading nonetheless. This literally changed my life, she says, and it's hard not to feel the weight of that sentence. Prima is the brainchild of Science Corp, a San Francisco based neuroscience company led by Max Hodak, a former co founder of Neuralink. Imagine a tiny chip, 2 mm by 2 mm, containing 400 microscopic electrodes placed directly on the damaged macula. Patients then wear special glasses with a camera that sends infrared signals to the chip. Those signals travel to the optic nerve and then to the brain. Sight, once lost, is partially restored. The clinical results are astonishing. 80% of the patients improved by at least 20 letters on an eye chart. 84% could read letters and words at home. Stanford's Daniel Palanker, who conceived the technology in 2004, says the next version could jump from 400 pixels to 10,000, potentially reaching 20 by 20 vision with zoom. That's not just improvement, that's a leap towards restoring the full visual world. But Hodak's ambitions go far beyond restoring sight. He is developing what he calls the biohybrid model, chips seeded with stem cells that grow directly into the brain. Think of it as hard work that becomes part of human mind. He imagines chips with 100,000 electrodes forming a billion synapses, allowing not just input to the brain but potentially extracting imagery, sound, imagination, even memories. He casually mentions the avatar is a pretty good reference point. This is where the conversation shifts from medicine to metaphysics. We are moving from treating diseases to enhancing humans. Science Corp isn't alone. There are 680 companies now working on brain computer interfaces worldwide. The industry could reach $6.2 billion by 2030. Let me quickly introduce a few. Neuralink, Elon Musk's company, has implanted chips in 12 patients. In first subject, 29-year-old Noland R. Bog can control a cursor, play games, and chat with his thoughts. Echo Technologies, their device allows paralyzed patients to speak using a digital avatar, complete with voice, emotions, even bilingual speech. Block Rock Neurotech, over 50 implants. Their technology allowed an ALS patient to speak to his daughter for the first time. Another patient used thought control electrodes to play Guitar Hero. Synchron, no brain surgery at all. They they thread a chip through veins to rest next to the motor cortex, a radical shift in how neutral implants are delivered. Together, these companies are pushing boundaries that just 2 decades ago were unimaginable. Of course, this future isn't frictionless. There are real dangers: brain infections, malfunctioning implants, tissue damage, uncontrolled stem cell growth, and what scientists call the butcher ratio, measuring how many brain cells are killed by implant probes. Then there is public fear, pandemic era paranoia about microchips in vaccines, online myths about governments reading truck drivers' minds, and pop culture obsession like Severance, which received 27 Emmy nominations in 2025. People are fascinated and terrified in equal measure, and honestly, it's understandable. We are talking about merging silicon with human soul. This isn't just a technological shift, it's an existential one. Despite the fears, the possibilities are extraordinary. Firefighters and soldiers could control tools instantly, saving lives. Locked in patients may speak again, paralyzed people could walk or move robotic limbs, and one day, healthy people might undergo surgeries voluntarily to enhance memory, focus, creativity, or connect directly with AI. As one CEO put it, people with brain implants will interact with AI in ways others cannot. This is a kind of superpower, but like every great technological leap, from flight to radio to the internet, it comes with questions that society must answer together. Where does the human end and the machine begin? How much augmentation is ethical? And who gets access to these superhuman abilities? We stand at a defining moment. For the first time in history, technology isn't just around us, it's entering us. And the future we build now will determine whether this fusion becomes humanity's greatest tool or its greatest test. If you found this exploration meaningful, do like, share, and subscribe to the World Journal. Tell me in the comments, are you excited about this future or worried? I am Arshad Khatlani. Thank you for watching.